Hey everybody. We see some people already being here. Thank you for joining. We'll wait, as usually, we'll wait for a few minutes for everybody to join. Just in case, we have a chat button here and chat section basically. So you can like write all your questions in there, and we will answer all the questions by the end of the webinar after we cover all the topics we want to cover today. So don't be like write in the section. All your questions are welcomed. Maybe write something so that we can check if the okay. I already see one message, so it's working.
Oh, I see we have somebody from Italy. That's great.
Yeah, Italy, Croatia. Good to see you, everybody here. Japan.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I'll start with if anybody wants to know, it is cold here in the United States in Connecticut. So I am right above New York to give you a reference to where I am. And it's chilly today. We had about 4 inches of snow over the weekend, and they're calling for some more this weekend. Now
Yeah, true
Michigan's
story.
warming up.
So it's already 2 minutes, so I think we can start, and all the other guys will join us a bit later. So first of all, thank you again for joining us here today. Today it's going to be our third or fourth webinar, and this webinar is going to be a bit different because right now it's not just the representatives of the company, but also we invited our customer James from lasertag on the go. And today we wanted to cover some practical information that James will share with us. So today, we will cover some information about how James started his business, what kind of road he had to take to make this business successful, some interesting information about the scenarios James uses, marketing tools, all of that. So we will cover all this practical info. And for those who didn't hear, we are going to answer all the questions that you can write in the chat section. So we will answer all those questions at the end of the webinar. Just to introduce myself, my name is Natalia Tatarova. I'm head of sales at Netronics. And today we have James Goldstein from lasertag on the go with us. Can you say a few words about yourself?
Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for having me today. I'm really excited to talk to you and hopefully give you some, tips on what we do. So I'm James Goldstein, the founder of Laser Tag on the Go here in Connecticut, and we specialize in mobile laser tag. I do not have a facility. We are 100% mobile. We go out to events.
Perfect. So, can you say how you started this business, why you chose this business, and how come you came up with our equipment and this kind of model of the mobile laser tag?
Sure. During the pandemic, I was talking to a very good friend of mine, and he had kind of a mobile business. And he was in the miniature golf business, and he was telling me that a great success. I was thinking of opening a facility where we could incorporate laser tag and do birthday parties. The pandemic was happening and everything was shut down. And I was grateful that we didn't start that facility because we would be in very big trouble. Upon that, we decided, I wonder if we could make this mobile. How great would it be? Here in the States, everybody was doing drive-by birthday parties. You would get in your car and you would drive down the road, and it would be like Natalia's birthday, and we would all drive by and wave. And it was a sad time. And I said, boy, everybody's outside, everybody's doing stuff. I wonder if I could take the concept of laser tag and make it mobile. And that's what started me to get on the quest.
Mhm. And Okay. And can you say like how you prepared for this kind of business? Like you mentioned, you wanted to do a facility, but you realized you that wouldn't work for you. How come? Like what kind of project, like ROI project or business project you worked on? What kind of criteria you had in mind when you were choosing the model mobile model?
When we looked in the, investment that would go into making a facility work in our demographic area, we've seen the lifespan be kind of shortened. Majority of people going to a facility would be the big hooray where everybody would go the first couple of years, and then the facility kind of got dated, it got worn, and you had to constantly refurbish it. Upon that,
Yeah.
we looked demographically and looking at other business models, and we said if we could be mobile, the facility would always change. We could be at one facility or park or backyard one day, the next day be somewhere else with the same similar setup, and how different it would be. And what we have noticed is now we will see a lot of the same kids from one birthday party to the next birthday party. Um, and every event is different because the way we set it up is always different because of backyards or schools. So we started to go on the quest of how can we get business. We started looking at birthday parties. That was the main goal at first. And we do hundreds of birthday parties now. We are coming into year three. We started January of 2023 is when we formed the company. Um, and then from there, we started looking at summer camps. And that is our two biggest revenue driven areas in our market is birthday parties and summer camps. Um, Following that model, when everybody sees us at a summer camp, we'll come out for a 3, 4, or 6 hour camp, depending on how many people they have. And what will happen is these kids will go home and they had such a great time and they're telling their parents, and now all of a sudden the parents are calling us up going, my son, my daughter was at summer camp. We want to inquire more about birthday parties. And that drives a lot of our business. We just ran the numbers and we're over 250 birthday parties for 2025. And we did over 132 summer camps that we attended, not including the rest of our business. So we have grown quickly and very wide in our market.
Hmm. Yeah, I realized some of the guys here who are with us today that might also be interested if even if you have a location, you still have or may have the equipment that supports this kind of mobile events, and you can have like an extra amount of income if you do mobile events as well.
Yeah, I think you definitely could. I think when you look at a facility, you need to have a couple different draws, to that facility. And I've talked to other owners that have facilities and they started to look at the mobile market. Um, and that's when they started to really look at it and go, okay. I mean, right now we have almost 78 taggers in our collection. As you know, we're always adding more. I mean, I'm always placing orders and we're always growing and fully expanding. So it has been great in that sense.
Yeah. And how come you chose our equipment from Netronic, like lasertag.net equipment? Why you chose us? What was the most important for you when you were looking for the supplier?
Yeah, what really mattered to me was, durability. I was looking to something that I needed, I was going to be hiring other people. It wasn't just myself running the business. And if I'm having, we call them a game coach. And if they're out there, can they use the equipment easily? It works on a tablet. I didn't have to use a computer like some other companies. I didn't have these bulky cables or vest or expensive software. That was one of the main draws that the software came with the equipment and it was always being updated. Serviceability, looking at the equipment and seeing if something was to break, how easily could we fix it? Having a warehouse in the United States was important as well. We were able to get some equipment fast, and that mattered. It helped us when we first started with service. If we did have anything go wrong, coming into 3 years, we've had very little problems. with our equipment. A battery, would go bad, or a trigger, we'll fix that ourselves. Very serviceable. So that's what made me go with it. In the history of Netronics, the reputation in the market really mattered a lot to us. When I walked the floor at IAPA and I looked at every other company, what drew me to it was the overall just feeling like a partner. It didn't feel like somebody just selling me equipment. It felt like somebody that was really kind of going, okay, we're here to help your business.
Mm-hmm. And speaking about like other companies out there, like I know pretty much everybody because we see each other at the IAPA again and we communicate very well. And so you mentioned like free software, nice service support, availability, like our presence regionally. But if I take a look at some suppliers, I see that we can be similar to some others. And what differs is just the design of the equipment in terms of, the
Sure.
visual picture. If you just see the equipment on the website, you may think that it's similar. So in terms of the design itself, like of the tagger, did it make any impact on your solution?
It did. I am very close. I'm in an area that the word gun is very sensitive. 13 years ago, we had a very big school shooting here. Everybody probably heard, or maybe if you haven't, Sandy Hook. So the word gun was very sensitive, even to this day. So I wanted to find some equipment that didn't look military, that didn't look, more like an assault weapon. And what I found with Netronics was, using the Lux unit, they looked more sci-fi. They looked more Star Wars, and that really fit my market huge. In ease of convenience for the kids to use it. It wasn't a big unit. A 5-year-old kid could have it, or even an adult. So it was very adaptable. That's what really drew me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. That's really pleasant to hear. Okay. Let's jump into some mistakes. So, were there any mistakes you made in the past when you were just building your business?
Yeah, I did. When I started off, I didn't know how big it would be. Just like any business, you never know. You anticipate on being very busy. We started with some other laser tag equipment, kind of firsthand. We started very small. It didn't last for us. It didn't work. So that's one thing I probably would have changed. I probably would have spent the extra money right from the get-go and just went right with Netronics, which we did a few months into that other type of stuff. Um, I would doing it again. I would definitely go and buy more from the get-go versus what we did. We started with 24 units. I probably would have doubled that order when Netronics the first time, just because you always need to have extra just so when the phone rings. We have multiple crews that are going out, so we could cover, at one time 4 complete birthday parties at once, which really helps us.
Mhm. And in terms of the layout of the game, so every time you're coming to a new place, you are building some kind of layout for the game to be interesting. So you need to have some obstacles and all of that. How did you learn how to do that? Like, were the layouts perfect from the very beginning, or what kind of information you absorbed to make it playable?
Sure. I remember our first party that we did. We knew nothing. We were going out doing this event, and we didn't have a company truck at that time. I was using my personal truck. I towed a little trailer to an event, and we're setting this course up, and we had like a wheel, and we're measuring like all right, we're gonna go 50 feet wide and 70 feet deep, and we had all these obstacles that we're putting out there and trying to make it. What we found was just kind of laying them out there and spreading them out was more beneficial. That first time we were like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? And what we found was just setting up a cool course. The kids want to have fun, but we don't separate, like our courses are kind of more close together. We don't keep them very wide. We're not using a very vast majority layout. We're sometimes about the size of a basketball field.
Mhm.
Really kind of helps us. So that gives them enough where they're not too winded. Our birthday parties are typically 90 minutes of playing time. So our average game is about 5 to 7 minutes. So when you break that down and you kind of look at it now going into it, into year three, we've got it down to a really solid party from where we very began.
Mhm. And do you use some kind of formula where you're calculating how many bunkers you need for the team? Like one person, that means two bunkers per player or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, like when we do a 12-person package, we'll go out there with about 12 to 14 bunkers. And then as our next package goes up, we have a package about 18 players, and that will be 20 to 22. So as we go up in packages, we go up in bunkers and, different sizes, everything from what we call like a large brick to like a temple, more of a or even something that's really big. Like we have these big jumbo centers that we use. In a jumbo center, you could hide four people kind of around it. And it's great. Like even when we go to a birthday party or to a college event, we could really kind of set up a really cool course. But that's kind of how we reference it as far as how many people are going to be playing and what it uses. We use a really cool thing called Google Earth. So when a
Mhm.
client books us, we'll type in their address in Google Earth and we'll get a satellite view of their yard and we'll get a little bit of an idea of what it looks like. Sometimes we're in some backyards or front yards that are very small. They don't have a lot of property. So we have to be very condensed. And there's other times we have some clients call us and they have 2 acres of property and they want the kids to spread out. And I'm like, they will be exhausted running that far for one game. They'll come back and they won't want to play anymore. So we found a good formula that we could have a large course, but at the same time, keep them more contained so our game coach runs the whole party for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Google Earth is kind of smart. I would probably do the same, right? And when you were just starting, how many people you had in your company?
So when I first started, it was myself, and my two sons. I have two boys. They helped us out for like probably the first 4 months. It was just the three of us going out there doing laser tag. And we were cold calling everybody. I was calling schools, I was sending emails, and I started to reach out to a lot of towns because in our area, they have a lot of summer camps. So it's very common that when school ends, usually the middle towards the end of June, for 6 to 8 weeks, they have summer camps. So parents will drop their kids off for a daily camp. And it's very expensive in our area now to get a bus, put 40, 80, 100 kids on buses and bring them to a venue and to do an activity for the day. So what they've done now for the cost of a bus, we could bring in laser tag. We could come in and we're that wow factor. We see it when kids get out of their cars, parents are dropping them off, and we have this cool course set up, and they're just like, wow, they're gonna have fun. It shows that the camp has a lot of value because they're bringing in something really high end, something of great quality, and the kids are gonna have a really good time with it as well. So when we first started, it was just us. We have 14 employees now. And our one of our biggest challenges is hiring. That really is a big challenge for us because we deal with a lot of high school, college kids. And a lot of times, like right now, going January, February, we're still out there doing laser tag, but not the volume that we're doing in like April, May, or even October, November. I mean, we're pretty much busy 10 months out of the year. January, February is typically our slowest time for what we're seeing, but we're still booking for those months. But when you look now at the challenge of hiring employees, and I'm pretty sure everybody else, wherever you are, you probably have the same challenges. We're faced with payroll and profitability as far as charging for the event and paying these staff, and especially when you're mobile. Sometimes we're traveling 30 minutes, 40, an hour to get to an event, and that's all cost. These people are being paid. So sometimes we're driving to the event just as much as we're playing.
Yeah. And in terms of the employees, by the way, I know some operators who usually hire students because they're a bit cheaper in terms of the salary, and they are proactive. They like this kind of games. So do you have something like that, or do you not pay attention to the age of the employee?
I mean, not so much, but what it is when you're doing a 5-year-old birthday party, a 10-year-old birthday party, you want to have, we call them game coaches, is what we say. You want to have a game coach that's on the sidelines that you could relate to. Somebody that you could look at like, all right, this guy could jump in the game and play. I'm not against hiring somebody that's older. We do have some older people, when I say older, that are 30s and their 40s that do work for us, as well. And they're great. But typically for summer camps and all that, payroll wise, we could get somebody to run a program a lot cheaper than somebody that is a lot older and more mature. Somebody like that is running our warehouse and taking care of all the equipment, charging everything, charging all the batteries, getting everybody ready for the next day, and that's a challenge in itself. Just getting all the taggers back, taking them out of the cases that we use and charging everything, getting all the batteries, for our bunkers to charge, all the headbands, all the Sirius units, the domination points. When we go out, we bring speakers, so we're playing music in the background, and that's one of the things I love about the app. That you could actually go and play some really cool sounds. And I have some great tracks. I have some playlists I'll be willing to share with anybody. I made in Spotify, and you could use those. So if anybody wants, just send a message in, and I'll share those with you. What we use, we use a lot of high energy instrumental. Tron just got released, the newest version, and there's a lot of great stuff on there that is really cool to use for laser tag. And you can build a playlist right in the app. You can have multiple. So we have one like when we do colleges, we'll have more of a higher energy, something a little more of today's, hits or instrumentals. But if we're doing more of a birthday party or summer camp, we'll do more of Tron or higher energy instrumental sandstorm type sounds in the background.
Mhm. Yeah, that's interesting. Um, so I think we pretty much covered the information on the slide that I just changed.
We
I
did it.
just wanted to ask one question regarding the operations. Like you mentioned, somebody's checking the equipment, all of that. Do you have some kind of checklist, to-do list, what you're doing? Like you're charging the equipment, you're checking the overall appearance, and if there were any, damage, there was any damage done. Like, do you have some kind of checklist for that?
Yeah, we use a program. It's called Connect Teams, and I encourage anybody else to use it. It's free for up to 10 people. Okay, like this company is really great. They give you all their tools, all their features for free. It's a scheduling program. We pay for the version now. We're over 10 people, but it allows me to create forms. So if my guys or girls are out there doing an event and something breaks, they could take a picture of it. They could send me the serial number. They could tell me a brief description, what it is. Tagger 1, the trigger stuck. Or Tagger 1 didn't turn on. Okay, when we get back, well, guess what? Nobody plugged it in. It missed being charged. That does happen at times. So that program has been very, instrumental to our business and helping us really do the daily checklist, because when the guys leave the warehouse, they could check, oh, it's a birthday party. Oh, I need to make sure I have a birthday party bag. We give all the kids a souvenir for the birthday person. They get a t-shirt and they get some stuff from us. So they have their checklist that they go through to make sure everything is all set. So again, that program's it's called Connect Teams. And it's global. You could use it. It's really good. So just kind of look them up.
Cool. Yeah, that's interesting. I will also check it. Okay.
And it's free for up to 10 people. Like, I mean, it is phenomenal. And I looked at them all. I looked at every scheduling program because, again, when you're dealing with high school, college kids, they're on their phone. So I want to be able to schedule something. I push the notification, they get it instantly, and they can approve or decline the job, or time off. That's always a big one. A lot of times some of these kids are in school, they might have finals, exams, or maybe they're taking a holiday. So it's nice that they can put that time off so I could look and see who is available that day, who's not, and be able to build the shifts. So that's very helpful.
Mhm. And in terms of the briefing, what kind of rules you're usually announcing? Like, what is the most important when you're briefing the players?
When I'm really briefing the players, I'm always, we implement the hand sensor on all of our taggers. We keep that very simple because I want to prevent kids from taking their one hand and kind of just waving the tagger and hitting somebody. So safety is one of our biggest concerns. We're always big on that. And being mobile, we have to really be cautious of our surroundings. A lot of times we're dealing with pools. There's a lot of pools in backyards that are maybe covered or uncovered. Guests are coming to your home and they're not familiar with the layout, the territory. So we always go over safety is our biggest thing. Our game coaches run the entire party. We take care of when all the guests arrive. We give everybody a gator. We call them a gator, and he goes over their head so that their tagger goes on it, the headband keeps the taggers cleaner. So I'm not always changing all those sweatbands in between. There's a wicking material. We have these manufactured for us, and they cost us about 50 cents a piece, depending on what quantity you buy them. But it allows everybody to take home a keepsake that has our logo on it. Um, Going from there, the game coach sets everything up as far as the layout, speakers, our TV for our TV out for our real scoring. And we go through a briefing of how we're going to play the game and then go into the game models of what we're going to play.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, I think you covered everything I wanted to ask regarding the briefing. Okay. And does the instructor um, sometimes remove the players from the game? Like, do you have something like that sometimes? If
Oh, sorry,
somebody
repeat
is
that.
yes, if somebody is disobeying, if some players do not obey to the rules, do you remove the players from the game or?
We do. Like I said, we'll go into the system, right into the app. We'll go, oh, player five, and we'll deactivate them. And they'll come over going, it's not working. I go, okay, it's not working for this reason. And maybe they're just not listening to the rules or just running wild. One thing that we've implemented this year that we do a lot of after school programs. So we contact a lot of the schools and they do a lot of like an hour, 2 hour programs after school during the week. So that's a lot of our fall business. We ordered whistles. All of our game coaches have a whistle because we're on the microphone and we're talking to these kids and adults and they tune us out. They're not listening. Everybody stops for a whistle. And my whole team is kind of like, we should have gotten these a while ago. So we order, 30 of them on Amazon and everybody gets a whistle. And it's funny when everybody leaves, you were saying about that checklist. I'm like, okay, did everybody grab all the equipment, grab everything? Does everybody have their whistle? Because it's the only thing that stops these kids from listening. I'm going, okay, we're gonna stop. We got it.
Yeah, that's a nice one. And regarding the scenarios, what kind of scenarios you're usually running? What type of games?
Yeah, so our games, we've went with approach of, kid friendly. We've always say we went more the Disney Star Wars approach. All of our taggers have unique names, so we don't type in the kids or the players' names. We give them all like Star Wars, Mandalorian. You could be Princess Leia or Jedi or Jabba the Hutt or Mandalorian or maybe Baby Yoda. Um, so upon doing that, when everybody gets all of their equipment, we'll go through the first game. And usually we start with team versus team. Very simple. It's the red team versus the blue team. And we say you don't cross the center line. So the red team stays on the red side. You might have unlimited lives, or maybe you only have one or two lives, and that's an elimination game. So it's a nice warm up. So it's basically, the first game that's in, LTO, and we use that as a warm up. Then from there, we'll do like a free for all. We call it high score, and then we tell the kids it's like battle royale because they think Fortnite, and they're like, oh my gosh, you mentioned that, and they're all loving it. So now it's everybody against everybody. You maybe only have two lives, so you want to maybe partner up with a buddy. You want to take cover. You don't want to be exposed. You want to be able to conserve your energy. We don't say the word bullets or ammo just because of the area we're in. So we say you get health, you get power in your blaster.
Mhm.
We'll do things like, we'll do Juggernaut. So one person has almost unlimited life, and everybody has to try to find out who that player is and take him down. One of our newest games is Jedi's versus the Stormtroopers. And it's basically we divide everybody into two teams. So you have the red team and the blue team. The Jedi's, let's just say we have 20 players, five people will be Jedi's. The other 15 players will be Stormtroopers. The Jedi's have double lives, but the Stormtroopers only have one life, and we turn friendly fire on. So a Stormtrooper can't take out a Stormtrooper. So it's a really cool game that, we could systematically adjust it how we need to, but still keeping everybody very much like, okay, this is fun. It's not lame. It's really a great, great time?
Mhm. And in terms of the accessories, like we have some smart domination boxes, serious
Yep.
stations, grenades, bombs, all of that. Do you use them? How often and how many of those?
Yeah, I do. So every if it's 12-person birthday party, we're going to use two Siriuses. We're going to use those for capture the flag. We'll use those maybe for a respawn. Or a lot of times we'll put for depending on what game we're playing, we will make the Sirius units into random mode. So you might go up to it, it might give you more health. You might go up to it, it might take you out of the game. You might go up to it, it will give you more power. Or it might respawn you faster. So that's the nice thing about random mode. You could really modify that how you want. We use the domination points because we'll do a game called triple capture. So usually once we go into our third or fourth game, we're going to say we're going to play a cool game, and then we just randomize all the players, and everybody now is on three teams. So we kind of act as an element of surprise that are like, wait a minute, we have three teams. We have a red team, a blue team, and a green team, and we divide them up and place them throughout the field. Red team's on one side, blue team's on another, green team goes over here, and you have to raise your color on the domination point. When we do birthday parties, the birthday kid, after the first game or the second game, we usually change out his tagger and we give him more of a F1. He gets a bigger one, so that way there has a better recoil. We have him in carbon fiber, so the kid thinks it's like really cool, and we give him a grenade. So the grenade is really important because now he can eliminate his buddies, and he thinks he is the coolest kid at the party, which he is. But now he has this extra element of gear that he can take everybody out with.
Hmm. And one thing I'm afraid of when it comes to the grenade, I'm afraid that the kids will throw it in the heads
Oh,
of
I
the other
agree.
kids.
Yeah. So we instantly tell kids, back to safety, that how many kids have been bowling? And everybody usually raise their hand, we've been bowling. So how do you bowl? And you roll it underhand. I go, excellent. And I usually take the grenade and I tap it on a few of the kids' heads very lightly to show them it is hard. You can run this over with your car. And, if anybody on this don't have a grenade, I encourage you to, get somebody next door. They are really important and they give you that wow, like it's cool. You can do a lot of things with them. And I tell the kids, anybody who throws it overhand, even if it's a birthday boy, you're out of the game. Do we understand the rules? And they all, make sure they all fully understand. And it's really important because you really can get hurt if you throw that overhand. You really can. It is built solid. But it has to be for the element of what it's going to do. So kids, they really do love it. They love how we build up the excitement into it. It's our game coaches just aren't saying, all right, go play laser tag. We're really telling a story as we're building laser tag games and going throughout all of them. Capture flag, not to go back to the games, but capture flag is still one of the biggest ones that we do. Everybody loves capture the flag. And usually, at the very end, we ask the birthday kid, what's the best game? And whatever that person liked for the day, that's the game we usually end with for our 90 minutes of playing time.
Hmm. And how you make sure that the players will want to come back to you and ask for another game, let's say like 6 months later.
So what we're noticing now, when we first opened, I was under the impression, great, we're going to do a birthday party. It's, Natalia's birthday. We did it. It was fun. Now I'm realizing parents are calling us back going, we want to have you back again. And I'm like, really? I'm thinking like, all right, you already had us. The kids still are like, that was the best birthday ever. And when you hear that and you hear mom calling you, they see that we really run that party. We make it so easy for them that they're like, okay, we want to have you back. So now we're starting to notice, even now, people are already calling for April, May, and June of booking birthday parties because they're like, so now we're starting to systematically send the messages saying, hey, we did your party, 8 months ago. It's coming up again. And parents are going, yes, we want to book you. We have new games, we have new music, we've just purchased some new equipment at the show. We have new bunkers, different sizes, different shapes. And parents are like, yes, 100%, we want you back. So that is a nice thing that we're noticing now for birthday parties. So to give you some numbers, like we were saying, birthday parties are our biggest, followed by summer camps
Mhm.
as far as volume.
Now, how do you work with the data? Do you use some kind of CRM, or how are you collecting the data and working with it afterwards?
Yeah, so that's one part that we really need to improve on our end. The CRM we have now it's good, but it's limited. It doesn't let you do a few things that you would think most of them really should do. I spent last winter probably a good 90 days of testing every CRM that's out there. I looked at every single one of them. I mean, I've tried them all. I've been on the phone with them all. We're working with somebody now to make a custom CRM. We use a product right now called HoneyBook. It's really built for like photographers and florists in the event industry, but it's very clean what it does. It's able to send a contract. It's able to get a digital signature. Moms could sign it right on their phone. We could send an invoice and book an event under a minute and a half. And that is really crucial. I'll be on the phone with somebody inquiring about our services, and we can very simply get all their information quickly. And I could send them an email with a PDF attachment, all of our packages, a link to our YouTube page. They could go look. I think we have 250 videos of all the events that we do that's on there. So, and they get to see what we're doing because when we go back to our packages, when we go up from a 12 person, all of our other packages, we include what we say a highlight video. So we're going to use GoPros, drones, our Canon cameras of capturing some footage, and then we render it down and make a 3 to 6 minute video that we throw up on YouTube. Now, all these kids that are at the event, we tell them if mom or dad let you, go visit our YouTube page. They like it, they subscribe, and now they're seeing themselves and they're watching it over and over again. We got one video, and it's not a good video. I'll be very honest with you. It's July. If you go to our YouTube page, you'll see it. It's called Plainville, and it got like 90,000 views. It just took off, and it's not great quality. If you look from there to our videos that we do now, it's totally changed. But that's helped us with our summer camps because now the camps are sending that video out to the parents and they're seeing all that as well. So I encourage you, get a GoPro, you do a DJI video unit or an Insta360 we're using as well, and capture those moments and send it to mom as a highlight because, it won't take you anything. If you get a GoPro, capture some video, and if you pay for their like video upload service, it will render that down for you and almost give you a really good edited version that you could send off to mom or dad um, of all the highlights. So that has been, something that's been really crucial for us. But for CRM, we are looking to develop a CRM to run the business. So that's this year's project.
Mhm. And by the way, when you have some summer camps, you have lots of people in one game, or you're dividing all the players into, some like 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, so summer camps usually, let's just say a 3 hour summer camp, 9 a.m. to 12. And before we go there, we ask them, how many kids you have, and they're going to be like, we're going to have, 140, 180 kids. So when we get there, the camp director will go over like, how long do we, how many do we have in each group? And they'll say, how many can you take? And I'll be like, well, the package you have, we could go 24 players at a time. So 24 players at a time, playing like a 5 minute game, we could really get through 100 players in an hour. So what we really look at them and they might say, you got them for 30 minutes. Great. So at 9 o'clock, have our first group. At 9:20, have that second group come over so they can visually see what's going on. So we don't have to go through all the rules as detailed because they'll understand a lot of the gameplay. We change our equipment, and then we kind of go from there. So we really kind of work on the camp of how long we're there, how many kids they have, and how many groups. A lot of times they're going to have their 5, 6-year-olds together. That's going to be one group. So maybe for those, we don't use the headbands, you know. Then for like the older kids, as you're going like the more, fourth, fifth, sixth graders, we're going to use headbands. We're going to give them that feedback of, playing laser tag and doing different games and just funnel them through. A lot of times it's the 4 or 5 games that we're really playing through, and we just keep rotating every game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And regarding the marketing and the basic question, how to get your customers, you mentioned that you did some cold mailing in the past when you just started.
Yep.
Um, the question is, what else are you using? And the second one is, even if we are taking at the emailing, like cold mailing situation, who did you target? Like what kind of positions
Sure.
of the cap? Mhm.
Um, I joined a lot of Facebook moms groups, a lot of towns, and every time I do an event in a town, I will hashtag moms groups. I will hashtag that town. So when people start looking birthday parties, we're right there. Google has been one of our biggest helpers. We spend no money advertising. I don't spend a dime in any AdWords, any keywords, nothing whatsoever. We analytically through Google have worked on our SEO so that we do rank very top when it comes to laser tag. In our area, if you Google laser tag near me, we pop up. If you Google birthday party laser tag, we pop up. We always post social media, not really so much of the kids, but we'll tag the town that we're in. We'll take a snapshot of the playing field or where we are, and we'll hashtag where we are, and we'll do a post. Thank you to the birthday party's name for allowing us to be here. We had a blast. Book us for your next event. So social media, Instagram has been big. We're starting to get more on TikTok now. We don't have a big presence there, but we're starting to kind of develop that there as well. So being a small business, it is challenging maintaining all the social media groups between, emailing your campaign, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, getting everything that's out there. So if you go find us on Facebook, you can find us on Instagram, and you'll see all these posts that we make, and that's really has helped us because parents see it and they like it. Or a lot of times the parents will also take photos and they'll tag us in it. I ask every event we go to please give us a Google review. The Google reviews mean a lot. What we have found is parents and events love to read those Google reviews and seeing what service we're bringing. The testimonials are huge. Another part of business to go after, corporate team building is a very good part of our market, and that is growing. We do a lot of corporate team building events. The adults are out there. They want to play laser tag. They want to do stuff. We have one corporate event that we do, and they do a competition of capture the flag bracket elimination. That is like huge. We play one game over and over again, process elimination. Colleges, call all of your local colleges, your universities, and get in with them. The college will run the events, and a lot of times all the club organizations within the university are running events. So there is a lot of good opportunity there as well.
And coming back to the camps, like for example, with the corporates, it's kind of obvious that you it's better to find an event manager of that company, and that is like the perfect person to talk to if you want to offer your services. But when it comes to the camps or schools, who you usually talk to?
So, schools, go to your local PTOs, the parent teacher organizations, the PTAs. reach out to them because they want to do fundraisers. They want to do stuff that are different for all the kids. The nice thing about laser tag is it's not just boy driven. Girls are in it to win it. They are going to play. They are very competitive. So it is a very big thing. We've done a lot of girl only like basketball parties and volleyball events. Um, Sports teams. We get a lot of calls from hockey teams, baseball teams that they're doing end of year parties. They want to do laser tag. Is a big one. When it comes to camps, reach out to your local towns and see if they have, who puts on the summer camp. Is it run through the Parks and Rec? Is it run through a private organization? Here in the United States, we have a group called YMCA's, and they're big organizations, and they have summer camps, and they bring in laser tag. They bring in a lot of stuff. Network with your peers. Find somebody, find a magician, find somebody else that does other types of camps. You'd be surprised, jugglers, people like that, and ask them, what camps do you do? And try to refer each other. I have a very good friend of mine. He does miniature golf. We talk all the time, and he'll tell me a certain organization that he's working with, and I'm like, oh, that's great. Give me a name, and I'll call them and say, oh, so and so just recommended you, or I'll give him a place. I'll be like, and matter of fact, yesterday I just said, hey, this school just called me. Did you call them? Because I got to reach out to them. I know they want to book me as well. So I work together very closely with a lot of vendors to try to help us both, to pass each other's names because people like to work with people who they already work with.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's a nice one again. Um, okay, so regarding the pricing, you mentioned some numbers that you're using for the pricing of your services. But can we just sum it up? Like what kind of pricing and packages you offer to the summer camps or schools or birthday parties or corporate events?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm gonna talk to you. I know we have a lot of people. I'm gonna do some of the comments, that are all over. So I'll tell you in US dollars, about where we are. So when we go out to a birthday party, 12 people, 90 minutes, in our area, we start around $749, is where we are. That includes digital party invitations. So we take care of that as well. We partner with a company almost like e-invite that it will send them out their invites. So we take care of that part for them. Everybody gets a laser tag and they go bandana. It's theirs to keep. It helps keep our equipment clean, and they can leave with a keepsake. The birthday person gets a t-shirt and a cool swag bag. They get to keep. Our summer camps start around 1050, and that's for 3 hours. That's $1,050, and they go up. Our typical summer camp in our area is about the 12 to $1,400 mark, is where our summer camps usually come out. Usually it's a 3 or 4 hour summer camp. Again, it's also by demographic of our area. Our payroll is higher here in the United States. Our in Connecticut, minimum wage is just a little over 17.50 an hour. So, we take that into, expect, insurance is not cheap. So when we really look at it, when people look at a 90-minute birthday party, it takes us 4 to 5 hours to do that event. Because if your party is at 1 o'clock, and let's say you're about 40 minutes away, so we have to leave an hour and a half earlier. So we leave at 11 to get there for 11:30, quarter to 12. Um, and as we are there, we're all set up by 12:15. The event starts at 1. We go to 2:30, pack up, get back to the warehouse. We're 4 to 5 hours into that event. So a lot of it is labor.
Mm-hmm. And in terms, I also have one question. So when you're doing some mobile event, do you need some kind of official document from governmental official document that this is laser tag? It's not some kind of military thing. It's a friendly equipment and all of that.
I mean, we're registered with the state. We are a registered LLC business. We do have insurance. We are, fully all registered and everything. We do require a waiver. So we have a waiver that we send up to, the camps, and they'll give us like a roster. So they'll sign a waiver. When it's birthday parties, we send it to the parents and they send it out with their invites. That's nice when they use us. If we do the invites for them, our waiver link is already there. Mom or dad could just go on their phone quickly, sign it, and it automatically comes back into us electronically. So that's a really cool part of our system that we have.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So regarding the equipment, we covered some kind of things about the design, the two-hand sensor that you're using, the accessories. Maybe there is something else you would like to highlight that helps you in your daily operations?
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that we use in, daily operation, we talked about the Cirrus units, we talked about the domination points, that we definitely use. What's really big for us? The chargers, the big chargers that we get from Netronics, that we could charge 20 items at a time because again, we'll come back, and we got 70 taggers, 78 taggers that we're charging. It's quite an operation in our warehouse. And I'll be more than willing to share photos if anybody wants to see it, of how we charge everything. So that is one of the big things. We've really got a really good system how to charging. So charging is a very big part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very nice. So you mentioned that you growed a lot
Yeah.
uh, during these 3 years. What's gonna happen next? What are your expectations for the next year?
Yeah, I mean, our expectations, now that we're seeing it, we're going into, coming into, that third year. We're really looking to grow the business a lot more. We're hiring, right now. Tonight we're having our very big corporate our big holiday party for all of our teams, to thank them, of course. We always ask our teams to, hey, if you got a friend that wants a job, bring them over. Would definitely love to hire a friend because friends like to work together. So that's a big thing, hiring for this year. Looking at a new CRM software for this year. We're putting another system together. As you know, you and I were at IAPA together, and we got an order coming in for some more gear. And expanding in that element is where it is. So that's for 2026 is to grow the business in that concept.
Thank you, James. I wish you lots of success next year and not only the next year.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, definitely.
thank you. That was very interesting and lots of cool information. Um, so I will jump into the chat section right now.
Yeah, I was just reading some of our comments that we have and stuff as well.
Perfect. And so all the others, you can also type your questions right now while we are gonna answer the questions that we already see here. So I see a question from the Zachary. What is the typical lifespan of a tagger unit?
So, I
Um,
mean, now we're coming into year three. They're still running. I mean, perfectly well. Um, we've had very, very little issues. I mean, if you took a brand new one and you take one that we bought 3 years ago, you could see a little bit of wear, just from like rubbing together and transportation, maybe kids handling them. We've had, a battery go bad. Maybe on the side of the Lux, the little white piece for the LED is fallen in, the glue, or the adhesives come out undone. Um, or a trigger. I mean, a lot of times I'm pretty sure we're all familiar. The little black pieces that snap in there, somebody will break one off, and that little ball end falls inside. And if you don't get it out, it always gets stuck around the trigger. That's really all that we've had. I mean, headbands. We've had a motherboard go bad, and a couple batteries. That we sent in for repair, or a couple we started just doing ourselves and everything as well. So we've gotten very familiar with that, but it's holding up very well. It really is, and that's one thing I really am really grateful for.
okay. So the guys are asking for the playlist and
Yep.
also The
I'd
game.
love to share that with you. If you want to, send me a message on, I'll give you all my email address. If you just want to drop me an email, I'd be more than happy to just put something together. My email is really simple, and I could drop that in the chat as well. Um, that way there we all have it. Um, so we could get that all there for you. If you want to drop me just an email, I'd be more than happy to send that to you, or find me on Facebook. It's a laser tag on the go. You'll see our logo and stuff there. I do have a QR code that's here. If you scan it, that's all my details. That's my email information, and I'll be more than happy to help any of you. Anybody that's out there, if you have a question, anything about my business, how you could grow your business, use me as a resource. I'll share with you anything that we're definitely doing. But I want to show you the playlist, and I have several of them, by the way. So I have several for you.
Yeah, thank you. And regarding the scenarios,
Yep.
Jos Dig is also asking if it's possible to share the scenarios that you created.
Yeah, I'll be more than happy to do that. I have them in Google. So the nice thing is, and I don't know if everybody's doing this, but in LTO, when you build your scenarios, you could export them. So when you export them, you can also export them to your Google Drive. And the nice thing is, like when we build another system, we get a tablet, we sign in with our Gmail account, we go right to our Google Drive and we import them all. So we're not retyping and rebuilding every scenario. So if everybody's not using that as a backup feature, I really encourage you to. It's been a game changer for us. And that's really been helpful, especially as the LTO is always, changing and upgrading and helping us. That's one thing that I encourage you to do. And if you don't know how to do it, drop me an email, drop support and a message. That's really kind of a big thing. But I'll share with you any of my scenarios if you want. And that's one thing I'd love for us to do more is share scenarios. I think it's great. I think some people out here could build some games because I could definitely use some more help building games. So if anybody's got a good scenario, please share it over with me. I'd be more than happy to share what I have too.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are our existing customer, it would be really cool to share these scenarios on our Facebook page, for example, for the existing customers, and in this way we can exchange what we've already created and
Yeah.
support each other. Perfect. So Zachary is also asking about your experience, customer feedback with the Scorpion Shock Band. I'm not sure if you have those.
I don't have them. Just because of our age group of more of our kids. Um, I was like, when you have, almost 80 taggers, I was under the conflict. Do I just buy one and give it to the birthday kid? Or, if I have to buy 12 of them per. So we haven't gotten there yet. I love them. I was just at IAPA. I was at the Netronic stand, and they're great. I need to implement them, and maybe that's something that I look into more, but I haven't used them yet.
If anything, from our side, we usually say that it's at least for 16-year-old kids, just because it will give some electric impulse. So it's not for kids, but at least teenagers. If the parents allow this in the waiver and sign the waiver, yeah. George Bell, our manager, is
Yep.
asking, a lot of my potential mobile clients are asking about insurance for business. What's your take and experience with that? Some people in the States were planning to rely on the insurance of the landowner who ordered the game. Is that a good idea?
So here in the States, one, waivers are good, but a very good attorney could get around a waiver. It's not really worth the paper that it's written on, in my opinion, from what I've been told. So we do have insurance. Our insurance covers two things. It covers our equipment, for vandalized, theft, fire, water, whatever. Okay, if something was to happen that way. We're also covered if we go out to a school, if we go out to an event. So over here, I always feel that we spend a lot of our time doing COIs, our certificate of insurance. And a lot of the businesses or a lot of the schools will say they want to be listed. So let's say a summer camp. So if we're doing a summer camp, let's say from Monroe, Connecticut, they will send to me and say, we need to be listed on this COI. We take that information, I email it over to my agent, and they put it on the insurance certificate. and they send it back. So it just shows that we are insured and they are listed for that day. So everybody's covered in case something happens. Um, Knock on wood, we haven't had any incidences. It's been really good. But yes, we do have insurance, and anywhere you go in our area, you need to have insurance. We deal with a company out of North Carolina called Specialty Insurance. So you could definitely speak to Bob, tell him that we sent you. They're really good, and they specialize in our market because you need somebody that they almost classify us as paintball, even though we're not. There's no pet projectile, but that's almost how we're classified as well. So if anybody else has a better insurance company, I'm always open for a better one too. Our guy's really good, but I'm always looking for more coverage and better rates.
Yeah, thank you. Um, Nicholas is asking for the photos of the charging station.
Yeah.
Basically, we can send you some photos. This is the charging station that we manufacture, and this is the station that James is using. So we can send you some more information about the charging station.
Yeah. The only different things that I did to them is instead of mounting them to a wall, I built like a wooden stand. So basically just like a little foot base with a pole, a 2x4 coming up, and they're mounted to that. So I can move them just around a little bit, just depending on, what we're charging for the day. That's the only thing different that we did to them. But if you drop me an email, I'd be more than happy. I can always send you a photo of what we have in the warehouse.
Mhm. Nicholas just said that he means the setup. So I think you can jump to the website, maybe
Yeah.
Facebook, right, to see some pictures of your games.
Yeah, you can definitely do that. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me there as well. I'm always posting stuff there. If you look in the chat, I thought I posted not chat. I'm sorry, in the Netronics Facebook group. I thought 6 months ago I posted a photo of it. And then I know one of the other newer owners as well, who joined in. He bought a stand, like a microphone type stand that his Sirius units sit on. Because I made some really cool Sirius bases out of wood and painted one side red, one side blue. And I know that's in the Facebook group, but I could share that with you how we built them.
Yeah, that would be cool. Coming a bit earlier to Isaac's question, did you design your own bunkers or purchase those from Netronics or another company?
Okay, Natalia, cover your ears. So I didn't go with Netronics bunkers. I love them and they're great. I felt that my staff wouldn't have enough time to fill them at the events. So I wasn't sure. I met a really good friend of mine, Tim, from Red Dot Paintball. He's out in Washington. He's here in the States. And we bought their bunkers. And they self-inflate. They have a battery. You plug it in, and the bunker stays inflated the duration. So again, we have another device that we need to charge, but those are the bunkers that I use. And then we put our logos on them, for the ends and everything else. I love the ones that Netronics do, and they are great. I know Bill up there in Maine, he uses them. He loves them. They are really good. But I did go a little bit of a different route because this is before I met Netronics, so I was already heavily invested into it, and it works for us. So you'll see my bunkers are a little different on our website and Facebook.
Mhm. Henrik is asking if you have a power station with you during the events.
Yeah, so we do not use a generator. At first, we used to use a generator for our summer camps. We brought like a Generac 2000 watt, really quiet generator. This year in 25, we started going over to Jackeries. So we use the 1000 and the 2000 Pros. One of the camps that we do is kind of an all-day type camp, and sometimes my guys are running like little fans because it's hot. So we brought two solar panels with us. They're 200-watt panels. They plug into the Jackery, and we really don't need them. But we brought them because we thought we would. And we have plenty of power. So we could be anywhere. So that Jackery sits right under our table. It powers our TV. We have a mixer. We have our router, the LTO out TV box, and it has a microphone and one or two speakers that we're all powering off of it, and we could do, we could go all day and we'll come back and they're at maybe 50, 60%. So we're running all day on those.
Mm-hmm. And I also see one question from James and Isaac regarding the ideal and minimum amount of money that you would suggest to invest in the mobile laser tag business.
You know, I guess you have to look at two things. Look at how many players you're going to service at that time. I know there's a guy recently. He bought six. No headbands. He started with six. I've talked to him. I helped him out a little bit, um, and he is adding more on. So that was his budget at the time. You might sit there and say 12. I feel 12 is a nice number to start with, and to grow from there because then that's a team of 6 on 6. Um, you can always funnel through players. You can always say, hey, we're going to, play one or two games, and then everybody takes their equipment off, and the next people go through. So you could always do that. But I feel 12 is a fair number. If you had 12 units and you got, a domination point and two Siriuses, that's a nice starting package to get you up and running.
Mm-hmm. And so the equipment, okay, the software, it's free of charge. You don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Uh, you will probably need a car, at least. What kind of car, by the way? Because I usually see some small cars being quite
Yeah.
enough and sufficient for 12-player package, for example.
So we now we have Mercedes-Benz Sprinters that we use, and we have Ford Transit vans. We are purchasing Ford Transit Connects, the smaller ones, a little bit more like a minivan. And that is enough to fit for like an 18-person player system, so like a birthday party. So we're trying to buy a little bit of a smaller vehicle for our next system, so that way that could go out to some birthday parties where we're not bringing a bigger truck, just to make it a little bit simpler. But you're right, you could fit this in anything. Don't forget, when I started, I have a Ford pickup and I had a little trailer, a little 5x8 trailer that we towed all our equipment around in. So, um, you don't really need a lot. It just depends. All of my bunkers, they fit like in a tote, like a 27-gallon tote that we put them in. Um, my all their taggers, we bought a Milwaukee case that's on wheels, and I could fit 12 of them in there with a domination point and two Sirius units are inside that box. If you drop me an email, I could always send you photos and help you out with how to line it. We lined it with foam, and it's great. It keeps the equipment safe, and that's important to me because when my guys are done, I want to make sure everything goes in something to transport it. Again, we're not, being all mobile. I know when we were at IAPA, we had a tour, right? We went and played laser tag at an indoor facility, and they had everything beautifully racked. It was just gorgeous. It was nice to see it all. I was like, wow, look at that. I don't have that flexibility. So we bring two 6-foot tables. It has our tablecloth on it. And all of our taggers are right there. And if you see any of my photos on Facebook or YouTube, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a red case, it's black, and it's good because it works with our logo being red and black. So it really blends in with our brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so the equipment, the vehicle, is there anything else to take into the account while a future operator is calculating the investment?
Um, I would look at, insurance, a little bit of advertising, get the equipment and just really hone in on what your market's going to be. Don't spend a lot of money advertising right from the get-go. I would try to, word of mouth is always going to be your best business. Advertise on Facebook, advertise, locally, free advertising is the best you can. I suggest you don't do free events because the only thing free events get you is more free events. Every time you donate your services, I always feel some other organization wants you to donate. And I'm not saying you shouldn't donate. It just, if you do, you start to become that mentality that everybody's going to call you for a donation. So I try to go the other way of doing something a little bit different with them and trying to partner with them and do stuff. We do one free event a year. I do something around in the States we have Thanksgiving in November, and we do one big free event um, to help out for a really good organization. Besides that,
Mhm.
no, we definitely charge for everything.
Okay. Guys, we need to wrap up soon. So if you have any questions left, please write those right now while we are taking a look at the last question as of now. So Yossi is asking for a good hanger for the taggers and vest for the question for if I'll send you an email with some examples. We have some customers who built their own hangers, and we can share those with you so that you could take a look and maybe maybe get inspired, right, by the examples. I see that James is asking, what is your expansion plan?
Um, Expansion is to, get that fourth system up and going for 2026. And hiring, we're trying to fill right now 4 slots. We need 4 people. One of our current game coaches is finishing university in May, and I know he's going to be getting a full-time job in his line. He's going for his degree in business. So as much as I'd love to keep him, he's great. He's valuable to us. So I know that's one thing I'm seeing. So my expansion is to get more employees, to get more people on from the team that we have now.
Mhm. What's the Netronic Facebook page? Um, it's basically called Netronic. I can just jump here. You can see some information of our company, the manufacturer, and you can get in touch with us if you have any questions or if you think of the questions right after the webinar ends, right? So you can get in touch with us and we will answer all the questions you may have.
I see there's a
So
link to it in there as well.
yeah,
Thanks, Valentine.
I
You know,
think we're pretty much done, right? No
Yeah,
more
we
questions.
really are. I thank you so much for, letting me come on and share some of my experiences of what works for us. I hope this encourages you to, get some other ideas of how to go get business and, how to, another thought. If anybody has any questions, for me as just as an owner, I'm always open and available. My email's in there. Drop me an email. Use me as a point of reference. Even if you're having something, I always say go to support first. But if you even have like, hey, how do I connect the TV out, or do you have any tips or ideas? Drop me a message. I'm always there to help you any way I possibly can. Again, we're one big network, and I want to make sure that whatever you're doing, I'm doing it right there with you. So if we could all work together, I think it'd be really cool. So always feel free. My number's there. You could call my office and ask for me. I'll give you my cell phone if you need whatever it is. So my email, it's in the chat, but it's Jim at lasertagonthego.net. My website is lasertagonthego.net as well. And I'm here for help for you. Anything we could do. And Natalia, I thank you so much for letting me be a part of this today. And let's continue the success in 26.
Absolutely. Thank you. Lots of
Perfect.
really interesting information, and I hope it was useful for the guys who attended this webinar and who will see this webinar after it will be released on our YouTube channel, because we also recorded it for those who couldn't make it and couldn't be present here with us. So thank you very much, all of you, and see you next time when we have another webinar, right? So
Most
have a
definitely.
good one.
Happy holidays, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.